Hi everyone, my name is Ciera Dispio and I am an MBA student in Community Economic Development with a focus in sport at Cape Breton University. I am supervised by Dr. Callery, and today I will be presenting my undergraduate honors thesis, Investigating Player Coaches' Experiences in a Men's Masters Basketball League. Ethical approval was received from CBU as well as funding from SSHRC to support this research. Previous research has been successful in identifying key factors in the importance of Masters athletes' participation in sport, as well as these athletes' needs and how they may differ from those of youth athletes. With that being said, there has been a gap in research regarding the context of peer coaching. And so these three key areas have been the foundation for this research project. Supporting Masters athletes' participation in coach sport, and coach sport being a key piece there. Secondly, coaches of Masters athletes and how these coaches may influence both the internal and external environment for Masters athletes. And lastly, peer coaching in Masters sport. So, unlike other sport contexts, what's unique about Masters sport is we see this phenomenon where coaches can also participate on the teams in which they coach. So, this research sought to build off of the concept of Masters players coaches, which was derived by Bilal Khazar and Callery in 2021. The framework for this study was supported by the Adult-Oriented Sport Coaching Survey, or AOSC for short. So the AOSC was created and validated by a research team, and it looks specifically at the psychosocial approaches of Masters coaches. So this reflection tool helps measure the frequency in which Masters coaches engage in or demonstrate behaviors within each theme. And these 5 themes include imparting coaching knowledge, respecting preferences for effort, accountability, and feedback, creating personalized programming, considering the individuality of athletes, and lastly, framing learning situations. The purpose of this study was to investigate the experiences of MAs who also assume coaching roles over the course of a season. Participants included 4 player coaches, of which was the league's director, and 4 teammates, for a total of 8 participants. And all of these participants were given pseudonyms to maintain confidentiality. Field observations were taken at weekly games, and within these field observations, I was looking for idiosyncrasies between teammates and player coaches to analyze their communication both on and off the basketball court. Afterwards, I conducted semi-structured audio-recorded interviews with both the player coaches and their teammates. And afterwards, this data was transcribed and analyzed using thematic analysis to uncover new inductive themes while also reflecting on past research and existing themes that were in line with the AOSC. Very unique and interesting aspect about this league, and a big reason why we were intrigued with this research, is it has been created and sustained by the league director Alex for over 10 years. And he organizes this league very interesting. He uses a player draft in which these men pay for their position to have their name put into a draft. And then he selects player coaches who are veterans and experienced players of the league to then pick their team based on the people who have inputted themselves in the draft. And by using this tool, he creates even teams that is still fostering a competitive environment. He defines a player coach as somebody who has experience, maybe not necessarily the most experience, but some in a leadership position. And he says that he needs to see some leadership qualities that it takes to deliver feedback, but in a way that doesn't rub people the wrong way and turn them off from sport. He also highlights the importance of balance, and that balance between keeping things competitive but also enjoyable. To me, this quote is really important because I think it summarizes so well his strategies over the past decade to keep this league sustainable and actually growing and getting better each year. After interviews were conducted and transcribed, we discovered one new inductive theme supported by 5 sub-themes. And this theme is roles and responsibilities of player coaches, supported by outlining individual responsibilities for peers, using their platform for positive actions, game management, taking initiative to display accountability, and lastly, controlling playing time. Prior to this project, we were unaware if the AOSC applied to the player coaches contexts. However, there were emerging themes that were in line with all 5 of the themes derived from the AOSC. For imparting coaching knowledge, we had player coach Carl express how he uses his experience as a softball coach and strategies that he's learned being a player coach to implement and dictate strategy as a PC in the Men's Masters Basketball League. Secondly, for respecting preferences for effort, accountability, and feedback, player coach and league director Alex expresses once again the balance between intensity and keeping things enjoyable. He also shines light on interpersonal relationships and building these strong relationships with peers so that he understands how to communicate better with them and more effective when delivering feedback. In terms of creating personalized programming, the league's director, Alex, as mentioned, he facilitates the draft, and he does a great job in getting to know the players and having a better understanding of their lives outside of sport, and utilizing this information to improve their experiences in sport. Also, when considering the individuality of athletes, we look to one of the oldest members of the league, Mark, who expresses a challenge for him, which is every day he says, I get a little worse and the younger guys get better. But this shines light on the importance of Masters coaches considering their athletes' abilities and how the athletes' abilities may influence the playing style that game, or if they're playing man-to-man, the matchup that they pick for different players on the team and their abilities. Lastly, framing learning situations, player coach Brent expresses how he delivers information and understands what his players' goals are for the league. Because when framing learning situation and utilizing role models as an image and a symbol for players to play like, it is important to understand what their goals are and how you can shape them as a coach. The AOSC had never been tested with player coaches before, and now our qualitative research suggests that the 5 themes derived from the AOSC are relevant to the player coach context. So moving forward, this research contributes to findings from previous research while also uncovering new data, which can help us further improve coach education for Masters coaches, while hopefully improving the overall experience for MPCs, PCs, and MAs. Listening, and I look forward